Hey, well, believe it or not, we're going to complete our final two thought primers this week. Actually, that's not true. We have one more thought primer next week, but it's a really short, simple housekeeping thought primer. Next week, we're going to focus exclusively, nearly exclusively, on philosophic inquiry number 2, getting that thing completed and submitted so that you can go about your merry way and enjoy some of what remains of the summer. But this week, we're going to focus on our two final thought primers of substance. And if you reflect back on where we've come from in just a few weeks, we began with questions about reality and about the nature of reality, the structure of reality, what kinds of things exist. And then we moved on from there to epistemological questions, questions about knowledge. How do I know that I know what I think I know, or what I know I know? What's the difference between knowing and believing? And really importantly, how do I acquire knowledge about reality? And we're going to build on those questions this week by taking the next step into questions about how we should use the knowledge of reality that we have. How should I live? What should I do? In other words, we're going to be stepping this week into the philosophic field of ethics. Now, as you work through your thought primers this week and you explore the different issues, I want you to be mindful to kind of put a check on yourself every time you find yourself saying something like, well, everybody knows that's wrong, or that's obviously the right thing to do. And anytime you find yourself sort of reflexively reacting to questions that are coming your way in that manner, push back a little bit on yourself and remind yourself that what you're trying to figure out is the basis for judging some actions as morally permissible, some as morally impermissible, some as morally obligatory. And in particular, what it is that causes us to make those kinds of judgments, and what it is that we might sort of stand on as the foundation for making those judgments. You'll hear me talk about this in this week's lecture. I think about these questions in terms of the right-making feature or the wrong-making feature of an action. So if I asked you a question like, is it morally permissible to torture small children? And you'd say, well, of course not. But if we find ourselves saying, that's obvious, it's obvious why it's wrong, or everybody believes that's wrong, check yourself. What is the wrong-making feature of torturing small children that causes you to judge it as a morally impermissible action? And if you find yourself saying something like, well, you're inflicting pain on a child, again, ask yourself, well, so what? What is it about inflicting pain that makes a particular action morally impermissible? Because there are certainly some instances where we'd say that inflicting pain might be morally permissible, such as setting a broken bone or something along those lines. All right, so have fun exploring these issues. They're really important ones. And again, just like every other week, when you find yourself coming up against a brick wall and it's like, I don't know, I feel torn, I feel conflicted, that's an okay place to be. And it's okay to operate from that position as you work through the questions on your thought primer, because what you really want to do is you want to get clear for yourself what you're unclear about and what you're clear about. All right, so have fun working on this stuff this week. We're almost to the end. Hang in there and stay on top of things as much as you possibly can, and have a great week.